But Gundam style, everybody, and welcome to Wow Cool Robot, a podcast about the media franchise Mobile Suit Gundam, the one with the big fucking robots. I'm Max, I use he, him pronouns, and with me is...
I am Phoenix, I use they, them pronouns, and we have a heavy hitter for you this time around, y'all.
The show's gotten a little bit dark, it seems.
Yeah.
The show's gotten...
It's intense.
It's really fucking intense. Everyone's been talking about how badly they've wanted to go to Earth in the show, and the producers are like, all right, let's go to Earth. Let's go to Earth and have a great, fun time.
I didn't think it would... Yeah. And then it's like, I guess, like, we've never really had to have a conversation like this on this show because we've never been covering something while it was airing. But, like, y'all, Jesus Christ, y'all, could you, like, lighten up? Like, I know that, like, the show is, like...
Jesus Christ, like, kids, could you lighten up a bit?
Like, and I'm not talking about the show, I'm talking about y'all. Not really our listeners, because I think our listeners are pretty good about not getting into this really stupid, like, we still need a better word for discourse, because that makes this stuff sound too fancy. Like, it's just dumb. Like,
honestly, at this point in my life, in my nearly 30 years of age, when I hear the term discourse, I take it to mean that people are talking about stupid shit.
Yeah.
I don't know. Honestly, I don't know where you're seeing this discourse. Because, I mean, to be fair, I haven't really... I go on Twitter and look at, like, Pokemon fan art a lot of the time. I feel like I don't try and seek out, show discourse. I feel like people are really enjoying it. I've seen people just, like, having a damn good time with it, personally.
It's like, it's like we're getting into, like, some, like, I'm talking about, like, the people who it's like, they're kind of making me not like Buell as much as I used to.
Couldn't be me. He's my favorite boy.
Kicks
fucking ass.
Like, I've seen some shit, and it's like, are you guys even also, like, it's also more of like, are you guys even watching the same show? Because, like, come on, like, you would, like, if he was the protagonist, y'all would be complaining about him because he is way too passive, and he's not, like, some badass that you can, like, Photoshop into, like, those memes where there's, like, Eren Yeager and Light Yagami and, like, all those other
those
guys.
Are two horrifically unlikable people. I'm glad Quell's not hanging out with them.
Yeah, yes, I am so glad he isn't. And also, if he was, like, you would not appreciate him, and y'all would just think he's being whiny and, like, not badass enough. Like,
I don't know. I mean, like, again, I think Quell's kind of popping off now. He's not gotten over his depression, but he's like, he's making changes. He's making plays. He's making moves. He's gone back to school. Good for him.
I'm so glad he's, like, hopefully he's over, like, that major, like, passivity streak. Like, making your own decisions for yourself instead of, like, just doing whatever your dad or your mom tells you seems to be a big theme in this little run we have going.
It's a show about having parents and defying expectations. I say we get into it. We got 2 episodes as usual this week.
Okay. Episode 15. Father and Child. In the aftermath of Dawn of Fold's attack on Astacassia, the Benneret Group has sent their garrison forces to Earth to flush out whoever they can find. They come across a base in midst of being evacuated, where Gul Jaturk has been captured, and an inexperienced Dawn of Fold member gives away their position, leading to a skirmish that ends in the death of the garrison squad and most of the Dawn of Fold members who stayed behind. Despite the poor condition he was kept in as a prisoner, Yule escapes in hopes of saving a girl who is trapped by falling rubble to no avail. She ends up dying, and he is now determined not to lose any more things that tie him to his late father. So he begins to head back to space. Meanwhile, Miorine gets more information about Quiet Zero. It was Noret's dream, and Delling was one of the only people who believed in her. So all of his actions, however misguided, were in hopes of realizing his late wife's dream, which was basically just giving people plant survival adaptation. So I think that Delling was really, really jazzed about oh my god, this lady could caffeinate me. I'm never going to have to drink coffee or Red Bull again. Sign me the fuck up. I want
Delling, wife, guy, confirmed.
I want to be caffeinated.
That line, I know that's more of a second episode thing, but god, that line about, or was that, I don't know, regardless, the line about how Notret based Quiet Zero off of plant behavior, that's such a fucking that's a Michael Crichton ass plot device of someone applying some sort of alternative biomedical cyber whatchamacallit. That I don't know. It feels very Crichton. It feels very Vandermeer to me. Of applying biological principles of different parts of life to humanity.
They're too busy thinking about whether or not they can caffeinate people than whether they should be caffeinating people.
That's what I tell myself whenever I make coffee in the morning.
Yeah. That was sort of what it was like for me when I was in cosmetology school. It was pretty much everybody there, they were either vaping on a Juul or they had a caffeine addiction or both. And it was it's I was, but maybe we wouldn't have to do that if school wasn't okay, we have to start at 8. Come on, we're adults. Nobody else out there, unless they're a complete fucking sicko, is getting a haircut. Wants to get a haircut at 8 in the morning. Who are you? What planet are you?
I wake up at 6 every day to go to work, and on the weekends I sleep into a decadent 7 a.m. So I am one of those sickos, and I fucking love it.
Yeah, I still do have a bit of a relationship with tea, mainly because it's also it's been really hard to get ADHD meds, and I do not want to have to clean a coffee pot every single time. I want to get caffeinated. You know what, Nora? Sign me up. I want to be caffeinated.
Yeah, give me the permit, Notret. Fucking let me eat it. Turn me into a cyber boy.
Caffeinate me. Caffeinate me. Maybe you can throw in some capsaicin too.
Ooh, maybe not that. Hold on. You don't want that. Anyway.
Boy.
So the episode starts out, we're on Earth. We're at the same kind of refugee camp that Donna Fold is in. Things are bad. Things are not great down here, it seems. It seems like Earth is pretty largely impoverished and has been blocked out from a lot of development and prosperity at the hands of everyone else in space. Very, very Gundam in an opposite Gundam way.
Once we get to the Shadid part, I really want to dig in on that.
We see a couple of main characters. There's Olcott, who is he seems to be
Olcott.
Revolver Olcott. Yeah. Hey, he has a fake arm. He's sort of the leader of this regiment of Donna Fold. He's very much the guy that everyone's looking up to. There's what?
He's a daddy. Like,
He
I just think,
literally is a daddy.
yeah,
There's this
yeah.
kid, Cethia, who doesn't like Gwell. Can't imagine why. Seto is the other kid. There's a couple of other characters. Jalil is one of the Danafold fighters. Oh fuck, what's the mustache boy?
That was Bessie. I
Bessie. Oh,
really
I love
liked him.
Bessie.
Like, I really love him. He has like the hair and the mustache. And if his skin was like slightly darker, he would look exactly like my Uncle Peter. So like we have my Aunt Ellen on the Space Force, like my Aunt Ellen, like that space auntie who Maureen was talking to. Like, yeah, that's my
Oh
Aunt
yeah,
Ellen. And now
Feng Jun. Yeah.
yeah, Feng Jun is like if Bessie's skin was just slightly darker, he has like the hair and like the same kind of mustache, he would look exactly like my uncle. And it's like, oh
He
my God, is like
has.
this going to eventually turn into one of my family reunions? Because like,
Yeah, right.
yeah.
He has like the hair and a mustache that makes him look like he should be a character in an 80s Gundam show, not a 2020s Gundam show.
I was going to say he looks like he should be in a band in the 70s.
Yeah, he kicks ass. It's too bad he fucking got exploded.
Yeah. And then
So
go puke in his cockpit.
the Prodoros. We get a pretty
Yeah.
rough scene of Gwell he's fucking like handcuffed into a bathroom stall, and we see Seto and Cethia are like trying to feed him because they're basically keeping him as a prisoner here, because he was captured after all the Plant Quetta shit last cour, and Olcott sees this and is like, "How long? It's been 3 days since he's eaten. All right, I got this." And he fucking like grabs. And again, this is a really goddamn gross scene. He like grabs Gwell's mouth and jaw. He's Gwell, not Bob, by the way, because everyone calls him Gwell, so therefore he has to be Gwell. I don't know what happened to Bob. He's doing fine, I bet.
And that Bob guy, like that dude was a maniac. He killed Joel's dad.
Yeah. When Olcott like grabs Gwell's jaw, you hear like the servo start to whir in his robot arm, and he just like shoves the food in his mouth and like he like pours a whole fucking bowl of soup and like shoves a piece of bread down there, and like it's like Gwell's like choking and crying, and again it's really fucking nasty and I don't like it. And Olcott's like,
I actually kind of think that like that food kind of looked good. It reminded me like, oh, like it looks like that looks like a pretty decent like chunk of cornbread.
yeah,
Like,
why does Studio
like,
Ghibli food look so good?
Yeah, Studio Ghibli food always looks so good.
Just Gwell's crying, throwing it up. But he's yeah. Basically, Olcott says, "All right, we're just gonna keep you alive as a bargaining chip. That's all you are, boy." And we get another, again, more fucking violence. Jesus Christ. We see Nika getting the absolute fucking shit kicked out of her by, Nika's getting the shit kicked out of her by Noria, and like Noria's going off. We've never seen Noria show this much emotion before. She cried a little bit when Sophie died in the second episode, but like
she's pissed.
She's screaming and like how dare you, how dare you, how dare you, how dare you. And like Nika's getting fucked up majorly from this. It's bad.
I wonder, and it's like she's talking about how like Nika has like all of these like lofty ideals about like how she kind of disagrees with how like violent Dawn of Fold is being, and like something like the ethics of like violent protests. Like we've been having this conversation for years at this point, but like something that I would like to say that is like, what if Nika is like Gundam's first non-princess peace princess? Like, what if Nika is like our Relena? And like I've seen like other people call like the Gundam trope that Relena falls into. And I actually have to say that like I am so thankful that I am a Gundam Wing fan in 2023, because I can openly, with my full chest on the internet, say that Relena Peacecraft is my favorite character and not in the show, and she is actually one of my favorite characters in all of fiction at this point. and I will not be sent death threats. But what if Nika is Gundam's first non-princess, peace princess? And also, I do have my own disagreements with Dawn of Fold. Mainly, what kind of name is that? It's not giving it's not giving mecha, space, rebellion, insurrection. Like, you have guys who call themselves stuff like Tekkaden, Celestial Being, the Black Knights, Ayug, and you are I guess maybe this is also because this is the Gundam Business School anime, and I'm sort of in marketing mode, I guess. Maybe you should change your name to something that doesn't read so much as laundry service. It's giving laundromat. I'm sorry.
Thinking about I'll get to Nika in a second. Thinking about the name Dawn of Fold. Dawn makes sense because the imagery of a rising sun, a new day, a new future. Sure, I'm thinking of all of the different ways you can interpret fold, and I'm
it's is it like a poker term? Are you trying to do shuffle alliance? You need to work on your maybe if you wanted to work on your optics, you could also bring me in to do some branding work for you.
Yeah, I mean, I'm fold as in not necessarily poker, but like a business folding or necessarily changing it to, if you're thinking of it in terms of being a noun, enter the fold. But again, it is something that I imagine. So for context, it is, they're saying it phonetically in Japanese, forudo.
Yeah.
And it's written in katakana, so it's it is fold. I don't know what the interpretation there is. I'd be interested to find out. But it is a pretty clunky name, but regardless, it is what it is.
Yeah, again with Soletta's catchphrase. It's not a phrase, it's just something you say, and I'm still trying to think of something that would sound more poetic that says it
sure. Earth Boys with a smiley face.
Yeah.
And going back to Nika, so I don't necessarily know if Nika is this super, I don't want to use the term hippie, but a peace princess. Because yes, she wants peace, but at the same time, a lot of other characters want peace, and they're using, I would say, pretty similar means to do it. I mean, the main comparison here is Shadiq, who also wants peace. But his is different. He wants peace.
But he also wants cash. And it's also I'm not...
Hey, you know what? I want peace and cash too, so I'm with him.
Yeah. But I have to say, it's when he was explaining his whole plan to just sell everything to Earth so we don't end up so that everybody in the Benner, his plan doesn't make a...
His plan is to make a Cold War on Earth. Buddy, what the fuck are you saying?
Yeah, it's for money, and it's I have to say that I completely agree with Sarius here, and it's I never thought I would be giving myself... I never thought I would ever actually say that, you know what, you actually have to give it to Sarius Zanelli, but I am... Oh wait, no, Sarius Grassley. I keep mixing it up because
no. You had it right. He's Sarius Zanelli. Grassley's just the name of the corporation.
Yeah, I forgot that. But I am I never thought I would be saying that you really have to give it to Sarius Zanelli for this one, but it's he is just so done with his own shitty son's bullshit, and it's
yeah, I mean, again, Sirius is 500 fucking years old and you got kidnapped, so he's pretty goddamn cranky right now.
Yeah, he hasn't had they haven't been letting him watch his soaps.
He's the world's oldest man, and he needs to watch Wheel of Fortune right now.
Yeah, they haven't been he hasn't been they haven't let him watch. They haven't let him watch Wheel of Fortune. They haven't been giving him his little cup of his little cup of Jello, like, but it's but like specifically the orange Jello, and it's
Oh
also like
yeah.
Shafiq is also like acting like he just invented war profiteering.
Yeah, and Sirius is like, you dense motherfucker. We've been doing is war profiteering, but we can't do
It's
war
like you
profiteering at our expense.
Yeah, and it's like Shadiq is like the kind of guy who would like he is also like I officially apologize to a Jello from Earth House. Like Shadiq would be the character in this show who would like buy into like crypto web3 NFTs, and then he would just spend like a whole bunch of time like gassing himself up and talking about how like he just invented like something new, or he would be like the guy who invented Uber when it was like, dude, like you just invented taxis, or
I
being
don't
like, well,
I
you
don't
just
know if I
invented war profit.
Yeah, I don't know if I agree with that read of Shadiq, but he very much is like it seems that Shadiq is convincing himself that he's doing things a different way, and he is, yeah, on paper doing things a different way, but it a lot of it does seem like a very naive view of business, and I think Shadiq seems to be kind of split between having to put on this big business boy facade when he puts his hair up and puts the suit on and everything, but at the same time have these kind of like lofty ideals that don't really gel well with the idea of being a cutthroat like space capitalist. I do kind of like the visual language we see of because Ceres is in his fucking Palpatine throne wheelchair, and Shadiq like gets on a table and starts expositing at him, but he kind of like he's up on the table, but he squats down to like he's putting himself above
His dad.
Sirius. I keep on forgetting his Sirius's name. I say it so many times, but like he squats down, and I don't know. Again, it feels like Shadiq. He's a very interesting character to me because he feels very much split between what he wants to be and how he wants to get there, and I don't imagine it ending well for him.
Yeah.
Because
yeah,
again,
like,
he is so goddamn conniving. He put all of this up himself.
it's like he's also like inserting himself into like the Dawn of Fold activities by like
Oh yeah.
bankrolling them and like giving them money, giving them stuff, and it's like again like I'm thinking like, okay, this is like another show by Ichiro Okuchi. It's like, okay, like him, and also him sort of having like his way with like his little harem of ladies. It's like, okay, what if Lelouch v. Britannia was a worse person somehow? Like, I don't, like, what if he was worse? What if he was just even more, like, what if he wasn't even trying for the 2008 not as big of a jerk as you could have been award? Because, like, that dude definitely wasn't as big of a jerk as he could have been, because, like, at least maybe he, like, actually cared about the liberation of Japan, and he wasn't just doing it because he had a grudge against his dad. But this guy, like, he definitely has something against his dad.
Yeah, I mean, he's again. I like that he's conniving and he puts on this whole facade, and I don't really have that much more to say about Shadiq here, but it's just I don't know. It's interesting that he's almost like the central antagonist of the second cour so far, just like one of the students, because it's certainly not Guel, it's certainly not Elon. I mean, it's kind of as Prospera too, but that's more of a second episode discussion to have.
Yeah.
So we kind of cut back to Earth after all of this, because the Benner group has been sending garrison forces out there, and they're specifically sending garrison forces and not Dominicus, because we see the Dominicus guy from the prologue talking to the people in the hangar, and they're like,
Kananji, like the chubby
Kananji,
guy, but yeah, like, and then it's like in this like art when they were like reintroducing his character. I love that he was like, he like, okay, he's like just like this guy, and he's just making like a little peace sign just to be cute, and it was like they were all just
silly
going
with it.
bleh,
Bleh.
eh.
Yeah,
And it
bleh.
was like,
Yeah.
he decided it's like they were all getting like their picture taken for like their official character bio on the website. And he was like, okay, let's do a silly one now. And he was like, cheese,
Say permit.
say permit.
He explains to the rest of the Cathedra. He's just like, yeah, we're not really gonna be involved in this, I guess, because they don't want to owe anything to Cathedra. I guess just because Cathedra is like special forces, and
Yeah, and
I don't
he's
know.
like,
I don't know.
and he's like, he ends up also saying the Star Wars line. He doesn't, and I guess maybe
May the
he
force be
says,
with you.
no, I have a bad feeling about this. He said that line, and I guess maybe it's just because we're recording this on May 3rd, and I guess it turns out I'm feeling a lot more in the spirit of the season for this May 4th.
I'm not. I fucking hate Star Wars now.
Like, I feel like I'm just feeling festive right now, and I've never felt this festive for May 4th before, so it just feels weird, and it's like, okay, I guess I'm doing this now. So, like, yeah, he said the Star Wars thing, and he's like talking to this other guy who was like, and then they end up being interrupted by Miorine.
Yeah, so she goes to talk with the head of Cathedra. I forget that guy's name too. But he's been there before. He has the side haircut. And all she asks is,
he's going to talk to the Pope.
She's going to talk to the head of the Cathedra. She just says, "Hey, what Quiet Zero? What Quiet Zero is? We don't get an answer for that yet." So on Earth, we see the refugees. They're getting ready to leave because they've been compromised, of course. And some of the men are staying behind to pilot these Prodoros mobile suits to prepare for combat because it's just gonna go down here. Obviously, it's a Gundam show.
And they're like also like they have like a bunch of like refugees with them, and they're trying to evacuate like the refugees, and there are also like some other kids, and like Sophie is missed.
Yeah, so we see fucking Cethia and Seto and the others. They make some graves when they leave, and Olcott talks to one of the other mobile suit pilots, and he's just like, "Oh, these fucking kids, they're pleading to the dead to erase their fear that they could die next." And it's like, all right, hey man, these are kids. You lost your son, and you've been going through it, but they're kids.
Could you let the kids lighten up a little?
Yeah, again, much the Mars said, "Geez, kids, could you lighten up a little?" But I'm saying it to Olcott this time.
Yeah. It's like that's just what people do. Like, we grieve. It's human.
Yeah, I mean, Olcott's he's superior because he's already gone through it, so he's able to just say, "Hey, why are you grieving?" So they're literally kids. We learned that like the refugees, I think they're going to leave at like 5 a.m. and we cut. It's midnight later that night. The Prodoros get ready. Everyone's kind of like ready to be loaded up, and Olcott and we see it's like Olcott and Jalil are the two main guys there. Olcott sees the kids like kind of run back into the school, and he knows that they're going to try and fuck with Gwell. So as he walks back into the school, Jalil's like looking up, and he sees the incoming. I think there's Zawarts. They're probably a mix of Benerit suits, but I recognize the Zawart at least.
There's a Zawart, like a couple, like there's some Jaturk, there's some Grassley, like
there's some Hindries in there.
But the Gurur Pennes.
There's no big year Pentes.
Or whatever, like the other one is that they made.
I think the Garrison suits are just like the Zawart Heavy, the Hindry Sturm, and the fucking Delonza Soul are the main ones. Wow, how did I remember that? Go me. Anyway, so we see Olcott, he like grabs Cethia in the bathroom because Cethia's gonna like, I don't know, I think wasn't she like gonna knife Gwell or something? That's right. What do you have? A knife? No.
And it's like what her dad was at Plant Quatat, and like her dad died.
Yeah, and yeah, she's like, why did they bring you back instead of dad? And then Gwell's like, yeah, that's a good question. Why did they bring me back instead of my own dad? He's fucked up over it, obviously.
It's like, I have to say, it's like I've seen people say that this was like a very like sympathetic moment for Yule, but it's like I'm pretty sure that like whatever Cethia went through on Earth, on top of having her dad turned into instead of having her dad turned into vodka sauce or like marinara or puttanesca, instead of her dad getting like smashed like that, like I'm pretty sure like everything she went through is so much worse than your like daddy's company going into bankruptcy. Like I
That's
get that you
true.
have like a lot of stuff going on because you also like killed your
Yeah,
dad,
I was
but
gonna say, I don't think Cethia killed her own dad.
yeah, like there are so many wires being crossed wrong here that it's not even funny, dude. Cool,
I
man.
don't think any part of this episode's meant to be funny.
Yeah,
It's yeah, but it is interesting that like I mean we learn later kind of why Guel's reaction is this, but when he's still Guel's very like comatose and non-reactive, but then when he hears that like the Jaturk company's nearly bankrupt, that's when he starts freaking. He's like, wait, what the fuck? My company's bankrupt. We learn later it's because he specifically he can't give up that connection to his family and his father. And that's
yeah.
an interesting enough angle for me. But again, it is kind of strange in the moment of like, wait, what?
He also doesn't seem to end up giving anything up. Like he, like again, like this happens much. This is just like the very end of the episode. Like he ends up not staying with the Dawn of Fold. He ends up going to try and find like the space elevator to go and head back home to do who knows what.
Well, we knows what soon. But yeah, it very much is like it makes sense his arc of like trying to reclaim his business and again get that one link he has to his father back because he obviously never meant to kill his dad. I can't imagine that was a good thing for him, as we can tell. Regardless, we see like Jalil starts freaking out when the garrison forces close in. And he starts firing, and this sets off a whole chain of events where a ton of missiles are fired, and like a bunch of them hit the school that everyone's in. And there's a whole mess of rubble, and we see like Olcott and Seto are there. They're mostly fine. Like Olcott lifts the rubble up with his cool cyber arm. We see Cethia, who is like lost all of the blood in her body, basically, and Olcott just says, "Ah, fuck,
Yeah,
nothing we can do. Gotta go."
he's I guess a little cherry tomato now.
Oh.
Mm.
She's still like a little bit alive, and then we see like as the shot's about to pan away, like we see the rubble move. Because Olcott doesn't even check to see if Guel's alive. He's like, all right, whatever. Kid's probably dead. Company's bankrupt. Not an issue anymore. We got to get out of here. But importantly enough though, when Olcott's under the rubble, he does like have a flashback to like when he was originally injured, and we see like him looking at his own son dying in the rubble. So it's like, oh, I understand what's happening here.
Yeah.
Sure. I understand storytelling.
It is so like I'm just looking out my window and it's like I just got distracted by just how like big the moon is. So like
I have my blinds drawn. So we get some very gritty and intense fighting. It's Earth. They're shooting missiles and throwing axes and mobile suits, fighting mobile suits. Oh boy. Guel ends up grabbing Cethia and like carrying her out of the building. And she's like, "What are you doing? Why are you doing?"
Like I wanted to stab you.
Yeah. She's like, "Why are you saving me?" And Guel's like, "I don't fucking know." As he keeps running out. Everyone's dying. We see Philip, who's one of the Dawn of Fold pilots. He gets pierced through the cockpit, and like his family photo burns up as he dies. And Bessie gets got. He gets sent completely flying and lands like perfectly in the woods where Guel and Cethia are, because Guel's trying to find like one of the transports to get Cethia there. Guel opens up the cockpit and like just fucking vomits everywhere because there's a dead body in there. Again, he's in a very fragile state right now.
Yeah.
He sees that it's still on though, and we do get a quick little cutaway.
that cornbread wasn't so nice coming back up.
I can't imagine any kind of food that's nice coming back up, to be fair.
Yeah.
We cut to Kananji, who's talking about a guy named Ridrick Kruger, who's actually Olcott. It turns out Olcott used to be a member of Dominicus, and isn't anymore. He was attacked by Earthians, and his family ended up being collateral damage. And we don't really get a whole lot of context as to, like, how that made him go over to the Donnafold side. I guess just knowing the violence that Donnafold causes. And he's like, hey, this fucking sucks. Got my kid. Got my family. I'm gonna be Olcott now. I'm gonna be Revolver Olcott. Got a cool arm.
Yeah, like, no
Yeehaw,
longer going
Solid Snake.
Freddy. I'm going to be Freddy Krueger. I'm not going to be Freddy Krueger anymore. I want to be Revolver Ocelot.
The Chronicles of Ridrick.
Reddick. I don't want to be Reddick. I don't want to be Freddy Krueger. I want to be Revolver Ocelot.
And so Gwell, he gets in the cockpit of the Prodoros and, like, just rockets up trying to look for the transport, and, like, the garrison troops see that and they're like, what the fuck? And that's enough of a distraction for Olcott to take out the last of them. And the battle dies down, and Gwell radios Olcott. He's like, it's too late. And we see, like, a fully dead Cethia in Gwell's lap in the cockpit. Again, fuck. This episode gets really goddamn dark.
Yeah, it's funny.
Oof. The transports do successfully take off. I gotta wonder why there were only, like, 5 suits that were sent here. I guess they're probably, like, scanning all over, but they were able to successfully take off with the only casualties being the guys who died in the fight in Cethia. Olcott tells them that he'll catch up with them eventually. He needs time to think before he rejoins, and we see him with Gwell, who's digging a grave. He made a grave for Cethia, and he tells Olcott.
Right next to
yeah. Oh. He tells Olcott that Cethia was calling for her daddy as she died, and you know, Olcott does a big old think about this. He's like, huh, I was a father once too. Curious. It's character writing. Ah, fuck. I got.
Aw, bees.
Piss. So, and then Gwell says... Gwell says, what do I do? And Olcott says, all you can do is think for yourself. And Gwell says, okay, can I get to the space elevator, please? How do I get to the orbital permit lift? And he says that he doesn't want to lose any more of the things that bind him to his father. So that's Gwell's motivation now. It's like his dad's dead, but he has a little bit left. I mean, he does very much have a half-brother and a bunch of kids at the school who still like him, so, you know.
Yeah, it's like, dude, like, your dad also kind of was like a jerk who is like, yeah, like, come on. Like, I don't think it's worth it. I don't think what you're doing is worth it.
I don't know. I mean, it seems to be doing good for Gwell, because next episode he does smile for the first time in quite some time. So it's worth it to see. That's how it started. That damn smile. We get the credits. They still bang. They still rip. They still fucking slam and slap.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. Like, it didn't do like the intense fade in. But it's like, if you have it like the credit music playing while the anime is still going.
Yes, I'm such a fucking sicko for that. It's so good. Every time it gets me.
I love that. Like, I am clapping like a seal. I am barking like a dog. I am like standing up in my chair like, woo, yeah. Oh,
yippee, wahoo! And... the post-credit scene is Miriam talking to the Dominicus head. We learn about what Notret's idea for Quiet Zero really is.
Yeah.
Say again?
She's talking to the Pope about caffeinating humans.
Yeah, applying plant survival strategies to humanity, and everyone is like, damn, Notret, this idea fucking sucks and is stupid. What are you on about? And Delling was the only person who ever actually believed in her. So we ended up marrying her, even though...
He was really, back when he was a soldier, he was really, really jazzed about the idea of producing his own caffeine.
I want to make DMT out of my own body. Can I get some of this shit?
I want to be a spicy boy.
I want to be a pepper man. Give me the capsaicin.
I want to turn myself into a pickle.
Notret is the funniest shit I've ever seen. So yeah, he ended up marrying her. He used to be a regular ass soldier.
We can be pickle husband, pickle wife. We can be pickle people together. I love you. Like, that you are, like, this isn't like Delling Rembrandt proposing to his wife. It's like, that is the funniest shit I have ever seen. Sign me up. Marry me.
He was a regular ass soldier, right? And he from early on we learned that he kind of hated how soldiers were so expendable, and all this decision making and killing was left to these weapons. Again, very much the stuff he was talking about why Gundams had to be eradicated in the first place.
Yeah,
he desired the restoration of human nature. And he was never able to achieve that order through war partitioning, so he's like, hey, Natret, plants, let's fucking do it.
Yeah, like, turn me into, it's like, I mean, I guess it's like, instead of like, I guess like, certainly a lot, I guess turning yourself into a pickle is certainly a much better plan than whatever Triaz had going along within Wing. Like, just like, Triaz should have turned himself into a pickle.
And Miorine kind of finally gets like, oh, this is why Delling had all this dueling, and basically Delling wanted Miorine to end up being protected by someone strong, and so Quiet Zero could continue its work in the background under the guise of all of this. But
Mr. his own daughter, like, I mean, he should have turned, like, instead of doing all of that, it's like, just like, caffeinate the girl.
Yeah.
Pickle her.
The last bit is just the Dominicus guy saying, well, you know what? All this is true. Follow your own heart. Figure it out for yourself. You're not your father. You're yourself. And live your truth. Live your bliss. Yeah, amen. I'm the Pope.
Yeah, I am the Pope. Like, if you, like, shoot, I am the Pope. Shoot for the moon. If you miss, you'll land among the stars. Hang in there. A whole bunch of other poster I saw hanging around in my school guidance counselor's office.
Yeah, mind the gap. Keep calm and carry on. No parking Monday through Friday. Okay, well, that's the first episode, and that will take us to our second episode, which is G-Witch episode 16, Cycle of Sin. Prospera explains more of her plan to Belmeria, saying if Gundam Aereo can hit permit score 8, then Eri can finally be free, since the data storm would be large enough and dense enough that she could exist outside the Gundam. Which she is now, remember. Belle refuses to go along with Prospera's plan, to which Prospera tells her she's not innocent either, since enhanced humans were her idea. Meanwhile, at the school, everything is under lockdown and students are leaving. All of Earth House is suspended and still don't know where Nika is. Miorine finally returns to them and is able to have a conversation with Suletta in the greenhouse about the Plant Quetta incident. Suletta doesn't think she did anything wrong, and Miorine pushes the conversation to the point where she asks Suletta if she'd kill someone just because her mother said so. And she would. Miorine demands answers from Prospera, who reveals that Delling killed her family and colleagues 21 years ago during the Vanities incident, and that Miorine is complicit in this circle of murderers too. Prospera needs Miorine to become the next president of the Benner Group in order to keep Quiet Zero on track. Miorine's back and it's not good.
Yeah, it's like, I turned my daughter into a Gundam. Isn't that the funniest shit you've ever seen, Belmeria? Like, just
Belle, don't you fucking love it? Isn't that awesome?
Like, isn't it the funniest shit you've ever seen? Like, come on. Huh? I'm waiting for you to laugh.
She loves it. She loves it. She is having so much fun right now. Belle's like on her hands and knees on the floor being like, shut the fuck up, please. And Prosper's like, it's so good. It's so cool.
Funniest shit I've ever seen. Like, I turned her into a Gundam.
Yeah, so Eri is no longer human.
I'm so crazy. Like, look at me. I'm putting a bag of frozen French fries on my head. Like,
she's so like, crazy. Love her.
Like, quirky. Like, I mean, I know he killed my husband. Like, I know he killed her husband, but it seems like Prospera and Kananji are kind of on the same page of having of kind of having a bit of a silly one this go around.
Oh, Prosper is hamming it up. It's so fucking great.
Yeah.
The thing that interested me a lot about this conversation, I mean, aside from Aerie, again, no longer human, she exists only as permet particles and can exist outside of the Gundam. Prospera mentions permet score 8, which I guess will create a data storm powerful enough that, like, you can just have permet particles out in the open, and then Aerie will be able to, like, walk free of the Gundam within that data storm, which is, like, kind of a really interesting idea to, like, kind of give data this physical form based on the fucked up calculations that permet is doing. We have to see it. Like, that very much feels like Chekhov's permet here.
Like, I mean, like, Aerie kind of, like, I don't know if you've ever seen, like, Code Lyoko, but there was, like, that girl.
Aelita. I fucking love Code Lyoko.
Yeah, like, oh yeah, like Code Lyoko. Like, yeah, like, she got, like, Aerie got fucking Aelita'd, but, like, at the end of, like, the first season, they were able to, like, bring her into the real world, but, like, in a much less fucked up way that doesn't involve, like, turning people into tomatoes. Like, God, like, Jeremy from Code Lyoko basically broke every single law. Like, like, that hacker kid broke so many laws in that show. Like,
he was Canadian, like, or I guess French, so it's fine.
Yeah, like he broke so many laws. Like, he hacked into a nuclear power plant, but he never had anybody turn anybody else into a tomato. Like, dude, like, you're making Jeremy.
He had to fight
a good person. Prospera.
He had to fight Xana. He was doing it for the good of his gigantic-headed girlfriend. And he's also gigantic. Everyone has some fucked up big heads in Code Lyoko. God damn. That was a good show. That opening fucking rips.
Yeah, like I still actually listen to that song just on its own. And there's actually, like, a full version of that song in French. And, like,
the show is originally French.
Yeah, like, but, like, in, like, the French version, they have, like, a full-length version of that song and not just the TV opening length. And I will, like, actually listen to that song, and I will actually listen to A World Without Danger just on its own, because that song fucks.
It rips! During this conversation with Belmeria, Prosper is also like, hey, you can hem and haw about my cool plan as much as you want and feel bad about it and get mad about it. You made enhanced humans. You have no fucking right to talk here. And Belle's like, please don't talk about that. So again, they're both witches and they're both doing fucked up things, but they're being witches in very interesting ways, which I quite enjoy. They're doing very different bad shit. And I like to see it. I like them both.
Yeah.
We get the OP, and then we cut to Astacassia, and news is finally broken. Someone has, like, leaked all the stuff that happened at Plant Quetta, and Delling getting his spine exploded, and Ceres being kidnapped. We see like the Bennett boardroom, and the pale CEOs are like, wow, this sucks. Too bad we're gonna have to elect a new president at this rate. Ooh, and they're being so fucking conniving about it because, again, Delling is in the Stardew Valley grandpa bed right now, so he can't do president stuff. We gotta get a new one.
Yeah. He is like I guess they got a king size. He's like right next to what's his name from Unicorn.
Yeah, he's hanging. No, it's like a fucking bunk bed with Siam Fist.
Yeah.
They're buddies.
Like they're in bunk beds.
We see that, like, Miorine is talking to Lauda at some point. And Lauda's like, hey, your company Gundam has been cleared to operate again. We can't find any link with you and stuff that happened in Plant Quetta. And Miorine's like, it's too bad for you. But we see she's, like, looking at her phone, looking at all of the texts Suletta sends her. It's really cute. Suletta's just being like, I watered the plants. Like, I'm taking care of your stuff. I'm doing well. How are you, Miss Miorine? It's very cute.
Like, I'm having a normal one, unlike you, who's basically just, like, in business jail. Like, you're, like, having to, like, go to, like, court, and it's, like, I mean, like, yeah, like, Suletta is a keeper, Miorine. Like, she, like, basically, like, anybody who you can actually, like, trust, with your
Mm-hmm.
plants. Like, she's a keeper. Like, I love her so much. She's just like such a sweetie.
She's so nice. We see the whole school is on lockdown again. Plant Quetta. We see like a kind of student message board, like blink and you'll miss it, and like someone's posted, "I'ma head out" in all caps, which is very funny.
Yeah.
You know,
They,
people are
there's
being
like
picked
they're
up.
fixing stuff up at the school that like Sophie and Noria, like they fucked up. Like there's like a guy going in with like a giant pack in the dueling area, and and like I'm really disappointed that they didn't use like the bubble gum that they used in like the 1979 series. Like I'm really disappointed that they
Oh,
didn't expect bubble gum.
right. The fucking like the cum finger in the beginning of Zeta. Yeah, no,
Yeah,
absolutely.
yeah, and like Cecilia and like Haro Kid are like talking to each other, and it's like we can't like I like Cecilia's like I have to stay here, otherwise like nobody can duel, even though like I'm not sure if anybody even wants to duel right now. Like they almost died, and like yeah, like they're both talking with each other.
Right. We see Earth House. And like everyone has to kind of hold Choo Choo back because she's trying to like run out and beat the ass of these guys who are like vandalizing the building.
And like
Their
right,
mobile suits.
Earthnoids go home.
Yeah, space is cool. Earth sucks. The students are like the Gundam and their other mobile suits have also been confiscated because again they're under investigation. So none of it's there right now. That's important for later. The other students are calling them terrorists. Martin tries to cover, saying, "We didn't do shit. We didn't do fucking
And
shit."
then
Uh, Everyone's so mad. They lost their friend Jubeju in the conflict. And again,
I don't like
all of that was Noria and Sophie.
yeah, like that was Nori and Sophie killed Jujubee. Like, come on, like that's not their any of their fault.
Yeah, I mean, to them though, they're all Earthians, so they're all worth getting their asses kicked over. And it's so. One of the guys is talking about how the witches they've taken so many lives in the developing these Gundams. Like you Earth House students don't deserve to have a Gundam. That's dangerous. And Suletta fucking walks up and says, "Our Gundam isn't like that. Nobody's life was taken in its development." And I'm like, "Oh fuck, Suletta, Aries in there. You don't know that yet. Shit.
Like, go,
You're very wrong about that, Suletta, bruh."
whoa, like your sister's Aelina in there. She's like digitized. She's like swimming
Your
around.
sister's an
She's
sister's an NFT, Suletta. Your sister's an NFT and is powering the Gundam.
Yeah, she's like like Zelena, like
And one of the guys gets really mad and he like chucks a spray can at Suletta and like Martin blocks it and gets a bit of blood. And Miorine shows up and is like, "Ooh, very incriminating."
like I have actually been hit in the head with a spray paint can, and like that hurt.
Oh, it's hard metal. It sounds like it fucking feels like shit.
Yeah.
But yeah, Miorine shows up with like a photo of this guy chucking the can. She's like, I'm sure the school will be very interested in see this. Run along now, boys. And everyone's really happy that she's back. We get a short little scene where Sabina is patching up Nika in like an infirmary. Because again, Noria like beat the fuck out of her. And Sabina asks Nika if she wants to join them because she has like really good skills to study elsewhere and she can, actually do something to bridge space and Earth. But Nika says she's decided not to be a victim anymore and she's not going to use any unjust means to bring about a just end. And again, that is a very Peace Princess ass line, I will say.
Yeah. I'm kind of here for like the Peace Princess not being a princess. Like that's like something interesting. I love it.
Mm-hmm. I'm intrigued to see where she goes. And again, there's like 8 more episodes, so we'll fucking find out.
Yeah.
So we move from that. And then Sabina does respond and say, ideals alone can't change reality, but me and Shadiq can. It's like, oh, fucking sure, Sabina, sure.
And then like she's talking about like they end up like meeting up, like Shadiq has his like hair up, he's in like business boy mode, and he's like oh I am like going to I'm going to run for president Like, even though, like, I'm going to go and, like, double down and, like, quintuple down on my fuckery, octuple down on my fuckery, and run for president of space. Like, I am currently in 6th place for running for president of space, but, like, I am going to become the president of space come hell or high water.
Right, yeah. He wants to do it so bad. We cut there. We see Pale calls Elon and says, "Hey, you got to get that fucking Gundam for us. This election's gonna be shit. We need that right now. Duels aren't gonna be happening anymore. You need to prove your worth because you didn't do anything during the Rumble Ring. So do all this if you want to live." And Elon's just being very silly about it.
Like actually, like, fight, or you're going to, or like fight, or your ass is popcorn.
We're putting you in the birthday oven, Elon. You better fucking prove your worth.
Yeah, like, we're running you. Like, we are, like, this is not and it's not an easy bake.
It's a very hard bake, Elon.
Yeah. Like, you're going through, like, the version, you are going to be going through, like, that other version that they made just to, like, sell it to boys, where they made it look, like, extreme and, like, gross out. Like, you're not getting it gross, but it's still an easy bake oven. Like,
we're putting you in the fucking slime bug oven, Elon.
Yeah, you're going in the creepy crawlies. You're going in there.
We cut from Pale threatening Elon to who else but Gwel Jaturk returning to Astakasia. I love the scene when he walks into the Jaturk house and he sees Lauda and Petra, and they're like fucking speechless, and Lauda like drops his pen and runs up, "Brother!" and like just fucking trips and passes out, and Petra's like, oh, he got too excited as he's like comatose in a hospital.
Yeah. I guess it's not a triple decker. It's not like a triple bunk bed. Like, there's like
they're just making it taller. Petra explains to Gwel that
I saw like a meme where it just, the bunk bed just keeps getting taller, like that meme that I saw on Twitter from the last episode where it's Shadiq getting on progressively taller and taller tables in front of his dad.
Yeah. You're gonna hurt yourself. You're
like,
gonna fall.
More furniture. Like, this isn't going to be Gundam Business School. This is going to be Gundam Furniture Store now. Like,
right. But he talks to Petra, and Petra explains that Lauda's been just working himself ragged in his absence, trying to get everything taken care of, and he's been struggling all alone without his father, and he just says, "Petra, take care of Lauda. I'll handle the rest." And we get like this. We get the rare Gwel smile in this scene. I'm like fist pumping. The king is back.
It's hard. It goes hard.
We go from there. We see Miyurin who's calling Fengjun. From the she's like she's part of some regulatory body.
Yeah, she's part of like the Space Regulatory Commission or something. Like, again, like, she's with Space OSHA. She's with the Space Pinkertons. She's with the Space.
She's not with the Space Pinkertons.
She's with the Space IRS. Yeah, she's with the Space.
That's more accurate. Yeah. She's like calling Miyurin, and she tells her, front management was not involved in anything that happened at Astakasia, so something's really fishy here. And she says to Miyurin, like, I'm helping you out, so in return, I'm gonna be able, like, you're going to give me access to come and go through Gundam as I please to investigate there too. And like, after she kind of hangs up, she talks to Gustin, her assistant, and says, something is really fucky with Ariel, because for such a low-ranking company, the repair costs they incurred at Plant Quetta were downright astronomical. So she's investigating all of this.
Yeah, she's like, Miyurin, are you doing tax fraud? Was this like some sort of like insurance scheme? Like, I'm with the Space IRS.
Yeah. Something's up.
Yeah, I get.
We move from there. We see Miyurin goes to Earth House, and she tells everyone that Nika's not with front management. We're looking for her. We don't know what's going on. And everyone is like, Choo Choo specifically is like just very calm and just kind of thanks Miyurin for the help. And it's just this very rare scene of everyone just being very, very happy that Miyurin's like, back. And
Choo Choo is like very like uncharacteristically calm. Like,
I know, yeah. And everyone is just like, oh, this is it's a very sweet scene.
Like, who put like chamomile in your monster? Like, who is the like? Who are you, and what do you do to Choo Choo?
Yeah. Um, we like everyone is like, oh, all right, everyone, everything's good now. Let's start dumping all of our business things at Mary since she's been gone. You know, they're
We
giving her
need
all
to do
these things,
this
and
stuff. Like, we're still running a business, like here, and
yeah,
it's like, yeah, it's like, are we doing space tax fraud? Because yeah, like, what are we doing? Like, we need to do something. Like, yeah.
yeah. And Suletta like kind of wants to get her attention but can't. So Till like raises her hand for her and she's like, I'd like you to check on the greenhouse, please. And Miorine is like, fuck yeah, and heads to go out immediately. And then like Prospera walks in Seinfeld style, like hold for applause as she leans through the window.
Yeah, it's like, I'm
and
pretty sure it's like, yeah, like big dun 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 dun.
yeah,
Like,
it's downright comedic.
yeah, like, and it's like very like everything is like just being like really, really heavy right now, but it's like
It's a
also
lot.
hilarious.
It's great, and everyone's like, "Who the fuck are you?" And Slutta's like, "Mom," and everyone's like, "Mom," and as Miorine and Suletta walk out, Prospera just goes this really cute.
Stinker? Ain't I a stinker?
Yeah, she says, "Suletta no okan-san desu." It's and like, oh, it's so fucking silly. She's in her silly era.
Like Kananji was having a silly one last episode. Prospera is having a silly one this episode. Like,
yeah, she's on some shit.
Hinged.
Honestly, so we cut from there. We see Elon, who's like found where Ariel is and has gotten in the cockpit and is able to like turn it on and access it. And he's going through it and he's like, huh, number 4 is able to get in really easily. How come I can't? And then like his fucking brain starts to boil and it activates permit 6 and we see baby Aries says, no boys allowed, get out of my sister's room.
You're stinky. You stinky. Like, you stinky. And my big sis, you stinky. Like, you smell, Elon.
He's like oh god, he's in like the fucking white matrix space and Ari descends from above. Her face is all blue from the permit and like his helmet looks like it's boiling and he's screaming and like just fucking freaking out and Ari just says, you stay away, you can't be here. And she kind of like moves up and a bunch of Aries show up, I guess, because like there's little bits of Ari in all of the bits, so that kind of explains why Suletta says everyone. But she just kind of puts one finger on his helmet, and that sends him flying out of the cockpit, like he's screaming, crying, throwing up, shitting, and farting.
Yeah, all after just being booped by a baby once. She's baby.
She's literally baby, and he's literally dying. And like we see Bella's here too, and Elon, even though he just nearly died, does this really fucking chill like flip over the banister railing and just like talking to her.
Like he's still like sick. He's like he got booped. He got booped out of the Matrix by a baby. And he still has the time and energy to do sweet flips.
Yeah, his helmet's like full of fucking puke, and he's still able to talk shit at Belmeria. Belmeria says you can't handle it, and Elon says, "Oh, it must have been easier tinkering with this than with enhanced humans." And Bell she's like feeling all sorry for herself and talks about how she believed in Gun's ideal future and she had to take refuge with Pale after Vanadis. And Elon backhands her like across the walkway and says, "Hey, you still fucked up. You made me. I'm reporting your ass." And he walks away and she's just like sobbing alone in the hangar. Fucked up. Yeah. Poor Belle.
Yeah.
I know she was a bad person, but I like her.
Yeah.
I like her quite a bit.
Me too.
Poor Belle. And then we cut to yet another heavy moment of the greenhouse. Miorine's favorite place. She's talking with Suletta, and Suletta asks Miorine if she's mad for, her Suletta slap. And Miorine's like, "Oh, it's the other way around. You should be mad at me for my reaction. Like, you saved my life, and I That's more important than anything else. And Soleda's like, oh, I'm glad. I knew everything would be okay because my mom told me it would be. This is when Miorine's like,
Mama said that it was
well,
okay. It's not okay. Like, she is like,
it's not
she's
My Chemical
not
Romance.
okay. She's not okay.
Like, Miorine's like, well, I mean, you saved me. It wasn't not the right thing to do, but it also wasn't the right thing to do. And Soleda's like, my mama said it was good. And Miorine's like, how can you smile? You fucking killed a man. And you rescued me, but you killed a man. And Miorine just starts screaming, like, will you do anything your mom tells you to do? What if she told you to give up on your dream? And Soleda's like,
just killed a man.
Miorine asks Soleta, like, hey, like, would you give up on your dream if your mom asked you to? And Soleda's like, well, I'd be troubled, but I would, yeah. And Miriam's like, what the fuck? Like, would you kill someone if she told you to? And Soleda's like, after like this really long pause, Soleta just goes, yeah. And Miriam's like, what the fuck? What the fuck? What the fuck? And she runs the fuck out to go confront Prosper about this. It's bad.
Is bad. And also, like, you ever notice, like, they were in like the greenhouse and they were like surrounded by like the tomatoes, and it was
I love the unripe tomato reflecting Soleta's face and the ripe tomato reflecting Miorine's.
I thought that tomato kind of didn't really look unripe. I actually thought it looked more like it had like some sort of weird like pest or like blight in it. But maybe that's just because I know a lot about growing tomatoes.
Oh, yeah, I don't know enough about that. It's yellow, and I don't know if I eat that many yellow tomatoes compared to red tomatoes. I don't eat that many tomatoes in the first place, because I don't really like tomatoes. Raw tomatoes that much.
It's like how can you like not like tomatoes?
No, I like to... It is specifically like a raw tomato, like biting into it is an abhorrent action, and I can't. It grosses me out. I don't know why.
That all the time.
It's like a giant. Yeah. It's like a giant like pimple popping in your mouth to me. I like cherry tomatoes specifically are just like ah. Anyway, I know that's gross.
So lovely.
Anyway. So Prospera is like in the hangar. She's looking at Ariel saying like, soon Ari, you'll be free. And I'm normal and I'm having a great time. Miorine runs up and like grabs her fucking lapels and like, what the fuck did you do to Suletta?
What the fuck are you doing, you mother? Wait, no, like your mother, not like motherfucker.
Yeah. She's like, what are your plans with Suletta? And Prospera's like, I should be asking you that. Like, are you going to have your way with her after I have my way with her? And she tells Miorine's like, well, I'll tell you this. Delling is the target of my family's vengeance. And she tells Miorine everything that happened in the prologue, how, Delling killed her husband 21 years ago and all of her colleagues, and Delling deprived everything in the name of witch hunting, and Miorine is the same as Suletta. She's in the circle of murderers. She's gotten there because of bloodshed, and, this is when Miorine... And I gotta say, I really love the way the animators drew Miorine in this shot. Like, she looks genuinely horrified. There's so much emotion in this shot I really, really like.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
It's so good.
Stunning.
And she's like, I want you to hear the screams and cries of my comrades as I get my revenge. And Miorine's like, you're an adult. You leave Suletta out of this. Let your adults just kill each other and we're kids. And Prospera says, all right, that's cool. I don't give a shit. At this rate, though, there's going to be a new presidency. And if there is, Quiet Zero is going to fail. So you, Miorine Rembrandt, need to become the next president. You're Delling's bloodstained daughter, after all.
Like, you, need, okay, I know we just had, that huge fight about it, but, I also kind of need you to become president. So can you, become president for me, your mother-in-law?
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Be a good daughter-in-law. Become the next president. You're Delling's blood-stained daughter.
Yeah.
And that's the episode.
Yeah.
Something tells me that the show is not going to get any more levity from this point forward.
Yeah.
I mean, there's 8 more episodes. I'm not... not gonna be good.
Yeah, it's we're speeding up. It's getting zoom. We're getting the zoomies here.
I'm excited. I no clue where this show is going to go from here, but I'm very very happy
What do
to
you
see
think
where it
we're going?
does.
Do you think we're going to end up getting like another one of this? Like, I mean, it's like another one, like another like pour, like a season two.
Everyone keeps asking this, and I'm completely content to just assume that it's going to end at the end of this season. It's likely something that has been decided internally long before the show even aired of how many episodes are going to get total. If it's going to be like, because Iron Blooded Orphans did the whole thing of like it was one season and then like a year later the second season, but like from what I understand, they had always planned to do that second season. This is a wildly successful show. I mean, the fucking kits alone. Ariel again is the best selling Gunpla kit Bandai's ever made. I cannot imagine that this success would get in the way of anything. I think that it is. I don't know. I've always said that I really like when shows are just a quick 12 or 24 episodes because I like when things are that concise. Gundam, I feel, gets away with more because, it's a very dense media. You're able to tell a lot more things when you have closer to 50 episodes to work with than 24. At the same time, if they wrap it up in 24, great. I wouldn't complain if there was going to be more Gundam, but I don't know. But that's episodes. I don't really have anything prepared because I watched these episodes at work and took notes at work, so I didn't have time to do any Beyond Toon World stuff.
Like I actually any build any good Gunpla lately, or like.
Oh yeah, you know what I did just finish my Gundam Ariel. Speaking of the devil, gotta say I understand why it's the best selling Gunpla now. It was really really cool.
I haven't really like able to like build much, but I actually found in like the basement of my house, I found like this old watercolor paint kit that I got for like Christmas, and I couldn't really use it. Like I took the brushes, I took the paper, but like all the watercolors were like completely like nasty, but it was like a nice wooden box. So I took the box and I ended up going to like this maker space with my dad, and they have like
yeah, I know it. My wife taught me what that is because that's a library thing.
It's actually not at a library. It's an independent it's like an independent nonprofit, not the library, but they have like all the woodworking stuff, all the metalworking stuff, sewing machines, and it's called Nova Labs, and it's actually local to both of us. And I'm actually trying to start a Gunpla club there, and they do all sorts of things. They have activities. They have like the Junior Robotics League. They have like so much cool stuff, and I'm trying to start a Gunpla club there. But like last week, I actually went there with my dad, and he showed me how to use the laser cutter. So I took a piece of wood, and then I like designed some things. I like drew out some shapes for the inside of the box, and I cut them on the laser cutter, and I just popped them all together, and I put them in the box, and now I have like a really cool, nice box for all of my Gunpla tools.
That is really fucking cool, actually, because I have a box theoretically. I have like an Amazon kit that came with some cheap tools, and I have like God hands now and stuff, and Gunpla markers. But like my workstation is a cutting mat that currently has a T-Rex on it, and like my painted pot of greed that Katie and I did like one of those pottery things of paint it and it glazes it and you get it later. It's a pot of greed from Yu-Gi-Oh, and that's full of like all my pens and paints and stuff.
Yeah, but like now I have like a whole I have like an entire briefcase full of it, like Gundam. Again, like this is like the theme here is Gundam Business School.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Fuck yeah. You know what? Gunpla is freedom.
Yeah. Yeah, and now I have like this really nice like box, and it keeps everything organized, so like I'm not like constantly trying to like, okay, so like where did I put my nipper down? Where did I put my 400 grit sanding block? Where did I put my tweezers? It's like they're all in there, and it's like all organized.
Yeah, organization is nice. Quite like it. My desk is fucking dog shit right now. It is so unorganized, but that is a problem for future me. Well, that'll just about take it to the close, I think. Before we wrap up, though, Phoenix, what's your robot of the week?
The Terminator.
Fuck yeah, I love that guy.
Yeah, it's
Hasta la vista, baby.
Watching, I was like, that movie is like, I actually was like going and cleaning out some stuff in my room and like around actually like my sort of like my dresser and like my makeup vanity area, and it's like, okay, I want something I can put on in the background, and it's like just to like have like some noise, and it's like, I want to put on like a dumb action movie. And I decided to try and put on the Terminator, and like, it's not a dumb action movie. I ended up watching the Terminator instead of cleaning off my dresser. And I just spent like the entire 2 hours just watching that movie because it's such a good movie. I really like that movie. And like, also like the sequels are also really good. It's like, I really like the Terminator.
He's fucking cool. I like his cool bike. I like his cool glowing red eye. Fucking badass.
Yeah. Yeah.
Fuck yeah.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah.
I love that movie so much.
Well, Phoenix, where can we find you on the internet?
You can find me on Twitter at Full Fringle. It's like Full Frontal, but also Gus Fring or like Pringles. Full Fringle. I am on Tumblr at Destroy Scythe Heck. And I also have made an appearance in the Dojin group Gunship. I think they're both on Twitter and I think they're on both Twitter and Tumblr. I don't know if they have an Instagram, but I am a contributor to their G-Witch tarot deck. They ended up closing pre-orders they ended up closing their pre-order when like episode 15 aired, so like you cannot get it on pre-order, but we are definitely going to have some extra decks around, and I am a participant in their tarot decks. So like, I am so happy about that. I've never done a zine project before. And I am also very excited for what they will do in the future.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm Max. I'm on Twitter at MaxyBajillion. I'm on Tumblr there as well. I have other shows, including Pot of Greed, the world's #1 and only Yu-Gi-Oh! Podcast sponsored by Kaiba Corp, where we just finished the first arc of 5Ds. And next month, we're going to be running our yearly Yu-Gi-Oh! Tournament called the Cup of Greed. Listen to the Pot of Greed feed.
Oh, that is so cool.
It's fun. It's stressful. I don't know fuck about Yu-Gi-Oh! Still, but I like doing it. It's the one time a year I get to play the card game. And I always get my ass kicked, but it's always fun. That's on Twitter at Pot of Greed Cast. My other show is Slappers Only, video game music show and podcast. That's on Twitter at Slappers Only Pod. This show is Wow Cool Robot. We are on Twitter at Wow Cool Podcast. That's really the main place to find us, but you can join our Discord episode or Discord links in the episode description on the Twitter header. You can also go to noisepace.xyz, which is the network this show is hosted on. All my other shows are there as well. Go check them out. Find something you like. There's something for everyone, because 2023, as I'm always saying, is the year of the podcast. And that will take us to the close. And Phoenix, as we always say, to end our day, war is bad.
Let's go, lesbians.